our webcast, in which you can watch on the web at sportswithcoleman.com or Fox1370.com. And of course, you know we're going to talk about the purple and black. Jerry Coleman alongside Kevin Cowherd here on BaltimoreSun.com and the all-new SportsWithColeman.com, sponsored by Dover Downs Hotel and Casino, where the Ravens did help me out over the weekend. But what about the lack, and this is the callers and fans in most cases, of a killer instinct with this team? They had the Panthers where they wanted them and didn't put them away until the final moments. And unless you count the Denver game, they haven't blown out anyone this year.
Jerry, to me, it's much ado about nothing. I just don't understand the emphasis on this. I mean, anybody who watches the NFL knows that each game is like this mini passion play, okay? Sometimes you have a great game. The next week you might have an okay game. Then you have a terrible game. Now you bounce back with another okay game. It just doesn't, it's not a straight linear progression. The Ravens keep winning the games that they have to win. They keep beating teams that they should beat. They're 7-3. They're atop their conference, their division. I don't see what the problem is. And I think this idea of a killer instinct is totally overblown. You take what these other teams give you, but you can't always get what you want when you're playing an NFL football game.
Well, even Coach Harbaugh, during his Monday press conference, admitted that they still haven't had that dominant game that he's been seeking. That's the coach's word.
But he's an
ours.
NFL coach. He's going to be looking for this constantly. I understand that. And he also said there is no such thing as a perfect game. That was another part of that press conference.
Well, let me say this. The offense and defense have really taken turns in being lethargic. They haven't all put it together at once just yet.
Right. My concern would be not the killer instinct. In other words, can you put this team away? My concern is more, why do they start so slowly on so many occasions? That's the problem, I think. There is, if you want to talk about a sense of urgency, to me, it belongs at the beginning of the game. So many times they seem to come out flat. They don't use all their offensive weapons, and the offense comes off the field. The defense even looks flat. So to me, it's more about getting motivated right from the get-go. Sometimes I think you can't do that when you're playing a team like Carolina that you know you should beat handily.
Well, we can all agree that Derrick Mason will never be called lethargic or not having that killer instinct. Here's a guy playing with 2 broken fingers, going through a lot this year, and he got emotional with this quarterback. Maybe too much for some people's taste, at least those in Carolina.
Yeah, I thought Derrick totally overreacted. If the reports of him, I wrote about this in tomorrow's Baltimore Sun, Jerry, you can't show up your quarterback. You just can't. I know things get heated on an NFL sideline. If Derrick has a problem with Joe and he says something, that's one thing. If the reports about him grabbing Joe Flacco's face mask are correct to get his attention, I think that's stepping way over the line. You don't show up your quarterback, especially a young quarterback like Joe Flacco, and I think if Derrick did do that, he's got to apologize to Joe. I'm sure it's all over between them. I mean, I'm sure they've all patched everything up. I thought he was way out of line.
And now the best part of the schedule, Ravens-wise, is ahead for the next 6 at home. Time to take care of some business starting Sunday with Tampa Bay.